greater than X.
What's up, everybody? Ryan Turford, the weatherman on the moose here, and welcome to an extra special Extra Mile all about As Dusk Falls. But wait, this is a different Extra Mile than the one you may have just watched a couple days ago or yesterday or whatever you watched the last one that we did, which was our review. This time around, we're doing our Spoilercast. I'm once again joined by Captain Canada himself, Court Lalonde. How's it going, Court?
It's going.
And the Pants Man himself, Sean Capri. How's it going, Sean?
I beat a game, Ryan.
We all beat the game.
Oh yeah, we did beat
Go
a game.
us, we did it. Yeah, we played a whole game.
We know what the ending is at this point.
All the way to the ending.
So
Seriously.
First off, this is a spoiler cast. So full spoilers are out for this game. If you have not played As Dusk Falls yet, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Go on Game Pass
honestly,
right now.
if you haven't played, just stop listening. Don't spoil this one. This is a definite play the game.
Yeah. And likewise, if you want to hear our full thoughts on the game itself, go listen to our review. It's up on the podcast feed or on youtube.com/carpoolgaming. But otherwise, I think we've given people enough time, you guys, and we got to get through this because we've only got so much time to do this. Let's go all in with spoilers. Let's talk about this game. So
Can I go first?
Sounds
Sure.
like I killed
Everyone's
everyone.
Everybody's
Okay.
dead.
I think I really want to preface in what he said because I messaged him after I was like, oh, I just rolled credits because you roll credits twice. Like,
Right.
spoil this now. You roll credits twice, and Sean was like, first time or last time? I'm like, only the first time. He's like, how many people? It was like, I could actually like, he texted it to me, but I could actually see him like, how many people are dead? That's what he asked me. And I was like, only one. I was like, oh, actually two. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, this person, this person, this person, this person. I was like, oh my God, you monster. You killed everybody.
It turned out to be like all I was typing to Ryan was like, this person's dead. And then it'd be like nothing. And it's this person's dead. And then this person's dead. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. Vince's wife. Yeah. Nuts to her, dude. Man.
What is her name?
Michelle?
No.
I don't even know.
It actually is Michelle. You actually got it correct.
Sean had another name for her. But anyways, it was funny.
Yeah.
Sean was not liking her.
Buried her skanky ass, man. Oh my gosh.
Jesus. Well, anyways, on that,
She tried to put it on Vince, man. She tried to be like, hey, what are you looking at my phone for? You're like, you cheating slut. What the hell?
You're ruining my organization here, Sean Capri. So here's the plan for this podcast, folks. We're going to just kind of go through the game itself. I've got a whole bunch of points and a whole bunch of questions I want to ask the panel here to find out, where we diverted on our paths, because as you probably noticed while you're playing the game, is we're, again, assuming that you've played the game at this point if you're listening to this, the game goes in a bunch of different directions. And I think the three of us went in very different directions. So I'm interested to hear what everyone here has to say. So first question I had, we're going to start with the heist. Even though it's not the first thing you do, it's in the first chapter one that you go to. I got to ask you guys, because this really surprised me. Did either of you remember the code that was shown to you on the piece of paper that you were supposed to memorize?
Yep, 5926. I still remember it.
I wrote it down. So because I knew what type of game it was, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because I'm in my where I play when I have time is I have my work office here, which has pieces of paper and a pen beside it. So as soon as it was like, I'm writing that down, I know that's going to be something I need later. You're not fooling me. Yeah. And I was like, maybe that's an achievement for getting it right away. Well, that's my brain.
Guess who didn't write down or remember it? This guy, Ryan Turford. So basically when I tried to, put in the code and it gave you the wrong code, this alarm started going off in the house, which actually prompted Dale and Jay to find a crowbar that they happened to have with them to like pry the safe open. And it was like this whole like quick time event to try and like get the safe open before the sheriff got upstairs. Like, it was a really interesting sequence, but it was like totally different, I'm guessing, from what you guys went through.
Now, in the spoiler-free review, I said that for the most part, I was making decisions or even acting out as if like how the character might have performed. I wasn't quite there yet at the very beginning of this game. And I don't know if Jay would have remembered that code. Like, he seems like kind of a dummy. He seems like kind of slack-jawed. Like,
he's annoying. I wanted to kill him. Like, he was, I want to get this off my chest. He was the character that I wanted dead more than anything else. The voice actor, the voice of him was I'm so sorry, but it's just annoyed me throughout the whole game. And I was just like, you're whiny. You're just, you know what? Go away. Like, stop playing this. I didn't mean to do this thing. Cause you know what? You did. You shot Vince and it pissed me off. Okay. Once he shot Vince, it was over. I'm like, you do not shoot Phil Kessel.
He shot Vince?
See?
He shot Vince?
He shot Vince.
But see, wait, diverging like paths, you guys.
Yeah, in the leg, yes.
He didn't know. Jay did not. Jay showed up behind him in like sort of like a standoff thing, but he did not. He did not shoot him.
In for me, he
cool.
shot, and I was like,
we're all over the place.
I really liked Vince as a character. That was my biggest frustration with the game. Is I really got into him as a character, and then when he just disappeared, I was like, are you kidding me? Did you just do this? Like, thank God Zoe was such a great character, so I got into
in the
her.
Second half.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed her. I thought she was the best character arc and character development throughout the whole game. It's just, I really liked Vince. I really liked what I did with that character. Like I was so sneaky. I was playing both sides of the fence. Like I was doing it all with Vince.
Gosh, man.
And I also let my wife off on this one.
You did? Okay. Well, I don't know, Ryan, where do you want to do this? Because like we could go all over the place. Like, do you want to like make sure that we hit certain points in order, or what do you want to do?
I'm making sure that even if we steer off the conversation, we're going to hit certain points. Yeah. Like I've got a bunch of questions.
Okay. Yeah. Like that was my frustration. Like when I didn't get to do more with Vince, and all he was this guy sitting in a boardroom later. I'm like, what did you do to me here? But knowing that we're possibly. I was just frustrated. I was just like, I really wanted to go more with him because I built up so much with him. I did so much with him.
No, that means you didn't do enough with him, man. For me, Vince had his moments, man. He electrocuted the cop. He had let his wife die.
I electrocuted the cop?
Yeah,
in
the taser. Toilet. Yeah, he made him put the taser in the toilet.
I didn't see that.
I thought he was dead.
So I MacGyvered
the dust.
Yeah, you did. It was a coma. Mm-hmm. I MacGyvered the living daylights out of Vince. Did everything. Vince saved his wife. Vince saved his kid. He was the ultimate family man. He saved his dad. He did it all.
Dude, his dad can die too. Like, which I mean, that was the one person that he would have died way earlier if he could have.
Now, I almost got angry at the end of that game because I was like, they haven't told, because as soon as he was making those comments, like, oh, when he walked into the hotel and the sketchy looking dude with the really bad animation on his face was like, hey, I recognize you. And he's like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. And I was like, oh my God, there's this thing here. And then when they really didn't go into it more, I'm like, are you effing kidding me? But then when they bring it up at the end of the game, I'm like, thank you. Cause I've been waiting for that. Because I caught it right off the bat. I caught it right when he walked into the hotel and he said, hey, I recognize you. He's like, no. And then he moved away from it. And then that was it.
Yeah, but that was one of my major hangups in the game, though, where I think the line says something like, yeah, didn't you come in here like 15 or 20 years ago or something? Like, nobody is remembering that. I'm sorry. I had a major continuity issue with that part there.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you never know how much of a small town. If it is as small town as they make it seem like it is, then you might recognize. Oh, you could. What if you can have an eidetic memory? Like I have a terrible memory, but I've been bonked in the head enough.
Paul seemed like he remembered a whole bunch of stuff. Paul's the guy you guys are referencing.
Yeah. Yes. I hid his nudie bag instead of the. I definitely hid the nudie bag. I was like, oh yeah, you're hiding that.
Oh no, I wanted the cop to think he was playing with himself,
smashing one off.
Right, yeah. I thought it would help the cover up. I thought it would help the cover up.
That's another scene too that I love, where it's like it only gives you a couple objects you can hide before it just progresses the story forward. So you're like, I don't know what to hide.
That was one of my favorite ones, actually. Like are there two glasses? Like was there the cigarette? I think was there as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I actually really enjoyed the very beginning with cleaning up the house, because when I pointed at everything, the one says walk out into the balcony, and I'm like, as a husband and a father, I'm like, oh, you ain't fooling me. I ain't going out on that balcony, because if I go out on that balcony, it's all gonna just go away. I'm gonna go into some trance, staring off into the night sky. Nope, I am going to do the dishes first, because that's if I don't have the dishes, at least I was actually picking those things based on, okay, I at least have to get this thing done first.
She literally told you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I've got to get the dishes done at least, because then it's over. Like I don't want to get. I get yelled at enough at home. I don't want to get yelled at in a video game.
Well, how dare she give you orders?
Well, yeah. What was it, Chuck or what's his name?
Cupcake. Well, that's what
he
she called
her
him.
Cupcake. You've been using that for a while now, Cupcake.
But actually, that scene really reminded me, Sean. You probably remember this as well
angry.
from Heavy Rain, where that beginning section where you're playing as Ethan Mars and you have to take care of. I think it's Sean that he's taking care of. You have to like make him dinner and stuff that has like on the fridge. It has all the things you're supposed to have him do. I thought it was like an interesting contrast because that scene really reminded me of that because you have. So like there's like 10 choices of things you can do and you can only get 3 of them done in the time you have allotted to you. So I thought that was really interesting.
And honestly, he fixed that air conditioner.
The air conditioner instantly. What a
honestly,
pro.
I'm surprised they didn't fix it sooner.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Why did they wait?
Yeah, you know what, Ryan? Thank you. That's right. Why wait?
Yeah. But moving back to the hotel, I've got a bunch of questions about the hotel that we got to ask. So first off, I asked Sean about this earlier. He said he was ambiguous about this. So, Court, I got to ask you as the father of the group, the other father besides you, did you let Zoe watch her nature shows? Did you give in to her demands and let her watch the nature shows in the hotel?
Oh, 100%. I'm a parent.
That's a good answer right there.
That is I got the heart after every chapter. I was the thoughtful person, like every single time.
But what was your rationale for like just because she's your daughter, or what else? Was there anything else to your thinking?
If I was the parent at the time, yeah, I'd let her watch it.
Yeah, like they've been through hell already. I thought that was bad enough, man. Like that seems like a pretty crappy experience.
To me, I was just like, whatever. Like I am also the parent that when people are like, oh, I look at screen time and blah 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 blah, I'm always just like, okay, I'm just gonna let my kid live. Whatever. She's gonna have worse screens, or she's gonna have whatever when she gets older. Like if I'm freaking out about this, then maybe I should put my phone down. That is my thought process all the time with the whole screens thing. And my kid will rather play outside now than be on her iPad. So that was my thought process was like how I parent. So I was like, hey, whatever, go on your screen. Like if that's what you want to do.
It was the jumping on the bed that I took issue with, Ryan. Like if there was one more jump on the bed, I would have slid that bed out from under and never.
You put your foot down, eh?
No, there is no jumping on.
She could have been hurt, for God's sake.
No more jumping on the bed.
No more jumping on the bed.
No more jumping on the bed.
No more jumping.
Well, moving on, at the start of the conflict, we had Big Sam come in. Big Sam is the police officer that came into the hotel. So I was curious because I saw there's a bunch of ways you could approach Big Sam and kind of his fate can be left up a bunch of different ways. So I'm curious, am I the only one that got Big Sam killed at the beginning to start the conflict?
I did not get him killed.
Oh, he's so dead. He's so
dead. Yeah.
Okay, can I tell you this? Everybody that could die real quick, Sean killed them.
Yeah,
I think so.
You did, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. After chapter 1, I was like, 2 people were dead, and I realized the one person I could have saved was, the shot to the head, because I could have just warned him. But still, how his family was like, you should have warned him, but at the same time, okay, I'm gonna let this one go. I'm like, you just like admitted to letting your brother die, but okay. That was a choice. It was weird. But I messaged him and he was like, this person's dead, this person's dead, this person's dead. I'm like, what character is even left in the game? You've killed them all.
It's really Zeus. Just Jay and Vince.
No, you play as Zeus at the end, the old man's dog.
That dog was adorable, by the way. I love that.
No, I would have kicked it.
Kick my dog.
The dogs.
Off a bridge.
I think we established, early on in this conversation that we all got Michelle shot. I think Michelle,
yes,
Vince's wife. So when we had the choice to send Michelle or Zoe,
I didn't. Michelle never died or got shot.
She didn't get shot at all.
In your playthrough?
No.
Oh, geez. Tell me more. What happened? Because so at the end of chapter 1, there's this big altercation between Vince and Tyler, one of the Holtz. And there's a shot that gets fired. And I thought at first it was maybe Vince getting shot.
No,
but it actually was Michelle getting in the way.
The hotel, the owner of the hotel, the mom, she did.
Oh, Joyce got shot then?
Joyce got shot because she just wouldn't shut up. She just yap. Bam. She got shot.
That's totally different from what we experienced.
Yeah, well, because if you don't call Michelle out for being a hussy and you just let it go, she and Vince, like they have a lot of moments. Like
Michelle didn't get shot at that point for me. Michelle got shot later.
I was just gonna say, because Court, in my playthrough, I didn't call Michelle out either. Her and Vince reconciled as well, but she was still shot in that moment.
Yeah, no, she never got shot for me, but I also let Joyce yippee yap the whole time. Like anytime there was like, because she seemed like a firecracker, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let her be the firecracker. I was like,
but wasn't that after Dale died in chapter 2?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that we're talking about.
They were really upset about that. Yeah,
Michelle never gets shot. She is the only thing that happens in my playthrough is the roof fell on Michelle, but Vince comes through like Hulk Hogan and lifts everything off. He gets like that adrenaline pumping. He's such a stud. He's such a stud.
Here's the thing: in my and Sean playthroughs, then to kind of throw this out to the audience as well, who might have been in Court's shoes, what ends up happening at the end of chapter 1, they make a big plot point about how Michelle is shot accidentally defending Vince from Tyler, and she's basically laying on the couch and she's bleeding out. And when you finally eventually get to the choice to let one of the hostages go, you have this really difficult decision. And you go to ask Michelle, your wife, asking, hey, which one of us should go? Should it be Zoe or you? And she's like, I want to stay, even though I probably don't have a lot of time to live, because you have to also wrestle in your brain. Okay, if I let Michelle go, she'll maybe get medical attention and be okay, but Zoe will be trapped in the line of fire with these terrorists. Or do you honor Michelle's wishes? Mine
was either the grandfather he tried to run for the door and he got bonked on the head by a gun. And because of the fake cancer, I thought he still had a brain tumor. So I let him go and Zoe stayed upstairs with Jay. But then like I'm Vince, I'm a superhero. So like I save everybody. Like literally my Vince, like he was Jean-Claude Van Damme. He took care of everything until he got Zoe out. He thought he got her out. And that's when Jay comes up, sneaky, dirty Jay comes up and shoots him in the back of the leg. First he goes, I'm sorry, and then shoots the guy, and I just wanted to punch him in the face. It was like, Jesus. You just shot Vince. Like, really? Vince, really?
Yeah. My playthrough, Vince never got shot.
But then Zoe gets kidnapped by the
Holtz.
By the Holtz. But she gets away because I make Jay let her go. Like that definitely happens. Jay lets her go. Even though I was like, you let her go in the middle of nowhere and the cops snapped her up like this. I was like, damn, all right, fine. I'll allow that. You have to, she's on the cover of the game, older. So I guess she lives no matter what. It is what it is. But yes, Michelle lives throughout the whole game. Everybody lived except one of the Holtz. I let him get shot in the head because I hated him. I hated his character.
Dale. Yeah.
I think we're all in the same agreement. I think we all let Dale get shot by the sniper. And in fact, I never went back and made the choice against him. Curious to know how the game plays out differently if you don't have.
Well, that's why I was confused, because when you go in, they say to Vince, they're like, did you warn him? And I was like, no, I didn't. And they were like, oh, but then they were like, the mother's like, oh, okay, well, how about you be on our side then? And I'm like, okay, whatever. If that's what you want, sure, I'll play both sides of the fence here. Sure, yeah. I'm on your side now. Sure, whatever you want. I just need my kid. Like I kept playing in my mind as Vince of all I want to do is keep my family safe. And how do I do that?
Yeah.
So I did everything everybody asked of me. Makes
sense. So Sean, I got to ask you then, since Court already answered this question, but I would ask you at the end of chapter 3, when the Holtz take a person, prisoner on the road to Mexico, did they choose Vince or Zoe for you?
They chose Zoe. I'll reiterate that Michelle was long dead. I gave her the morphine.
He was so proud of this to me.
I actually gave Michelle the morphine too, by the way.
Yeah, Sean. Give her the morphine, put her to sleep for the forever sleep, the forever nap. And yeah, Zoe went into the car, and I was a little like, oh man, like I didn't want the game to end. I knew that I had a bunch of the games still to go, so it didn't seem like there was really a conclusion right around the corner. But yeah, it was like this. I was really surprised to see it finally go beyond the hotel, actually. And I like the sequence of going racing against the train. I thought that was really good. But was there a playthrough among the three of us that's not Zoe?
Yep, my playthrough, because I actually had Vince go, because what ends up happening when
So how
him
is
and
Zoe
Tyler are
traumatic?
fighting in
Like,
the
I don't get it.
when him and Tyler are fighting in the pool, eventually when Jay breaks up their fight and they're about to take someone captive, they talk about taking Zoe, but I had Vince beg on his hands and knees to take him instead. And because of my choices along the way, they took Vince instead and let Zoe go with the police officers at the hotel.
Really? So I didn't have a choice in that. Like Vince gets shot in the leg and they take Zoe because they're terrible people.
Whereas not only did Vince not get shot in my playthrough, because they didn't like Tyler and Vince fought in the pool because Tyler didn't like Vince, especially after he let Dale die. But at the same time, because I hadn't, gone against them throughout the playthrough, I guess, like that's why they're like, okay, we can trust that this guy's not going to try anything, so we're going to take him instead. Because
like that's even weird, because that's even a conversation for Jay and Vanessa later on, where he's like, I shot a guy, and she's like, and he's like, yeah, I'm just kidding. But like he wasn't.
They
kidding.
have a conversation that can go differently too, because there's also a police officer you can shoot later as Jay as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Right. So then 2 questions I wanted to ask before we get to the on the run portion of this. Number 1, in the flashback with Bear, the father of the Holtz, did you save Bear from killing himself?
Yes.
Or did you let him hang himself?
Let him die.
I know Sean's
let him die. What a pig. He shouldn't be called Bear. He should be called Pig. He should be called Bear Pig.
I looked more at like, yes, he's a terrible person, but did I want to psychologically damage Jay even much as I hated him as a character? So I did not let him die, because I know that would destroy him as a human.
Same here. I had him cut him down, and
You
I liked
monster.
And I liked how at the end of the game too, it gives you a little flash of Bear again, going to Dale's grave, which I thought was really interesting. So we get to see Bear at some point. So I love how he stays in the story if you see him. But I have to ask though, Court, since you were also on the courteous side, did you save Thorn, the gangster guy, the guy that was trying to like collect the debt from people? Because Bear and Jay go to bury him, and you can choose not to bury him alive.
I did not bury him alive.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Sean did.
Which, of course,
Sounds like kill them all.
Well, this one was a little trickier, but yeah, you think he's dead. You think he's dead. You're kind of burying him, and the whole I hated this dad. I hated him so much. He's like, he can't even do his own dirty work. Well,
why'd you help him then?
Only to allow him to hang himself in the bar later.
With you.
So you think this gangster is dead already, and you're like, this is traumatizing already. So Jay's been through a lot of stuff here, and then the dad just like keeps blaming him. He keeps putting him down. He keeps being an absolute asshole to him. He starts burying. He can't even bury this old guy who he killed, and then he wakes up. Only to tell them, he's like, I'm burying you. Like, what are you doing? He wakes up and then he smashes him in the head. The bear actually like slices him with the shovel and kind of finishes him off.
Okay. Did you at least have Jay like tell his dad to go F himself? Like, I ain't digging you a hole.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I was on Jay's side on that front, like definitely for a lot of the game, which I think is what it wanted me to do. Is like, I kind of felt sorry for him that he just kept getting, it didn't seem like he deserved a lot of it. But by the end,
he shot Vince. He deserved it.
Well, yeah, exactly. But by the end, I was like, this is kind of going on a little bit too far. Like the story takes you in a way that Jay starts to deserve some negative consequences.
100%. I honestly thought another part was when he decided to run with the car when the cops got him. He could have just stopped the whole thing right in there, and then he almost gets hit by a train and kills them all. I'm like,
totally.
Okay, Jay, you're no longer innocent. You suck, dude. You suck.
Yep.
So then other question I had, which is about Vince in particular, and I know especially because you guys kind of left Vince behind at this point, whereas I still had Vince for like a good part of chapter 4.
That'd be awesome.
So wait, captain. Court had a good question. What happened to Zoe at that point, and why was she so damaged in the storyline?
She ends up going with the police officers.
Yeah, but why is she so damaged? Because like that's the whole plot of like the second half, that she's so damaged. She has her anxiety meds.
It made perfect sense to me, dude. Like her mom died. Like everybody
go through it.
No,
but she was still in the hotel.
Yeah, Sean, you're
during
a monster.
The whole thing. Like when the bus crashed in and everyone's getting shot. Like Zoe was there. So I mean, it's still a traumatic experience. But
sure,
it's not,
but like
not
for me, she got like captured and like taken hostage by like a terrible
a little
family.
more extreme than
Court,
what I
if there
had
was
to
an
go through.
option, I would have had Vince tell her, hey, you know, your mom was a skank and I probably could have saved her, but I didn't.
Jesus Christ, Sean. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask about Vince specifically, because I'm curious to know what direction you guys went in with this one. Did either of you guys sign the, take the deal from the airline, or did you sue the airline?
Sue the
What'd you guys
airline.
do?
Yeah, sued the airline. I don't think that really there was anything that came out of it. It kind of flashed forward ahead and he seemed to be fine.
No, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I did neither.
Oh, so it just made a choice. So then I have to ask you then, Court, where did Vince end up? Did he open his own flight school, or was he working at like a Walmart kind of job?
Oh,
He had his own flight school.
same here.
Then it chose to sue the airline. Is
Yes.
what doing nothing.
No, like for
Because-
me, it was he didn't do like when you were given the choice. For me, I had the choice of because in the dream, because it's a dream, right? So it was
Right.
like, hey, in
yeah.
my dream, in the dream, I woke up, I took the money, I did what you wanted, like because that's what she wanted him to do. But in the end, I
What are you
the flight
honoring
school.
her wishes for? What are you honoring those?
She's the mother of my child. I'm gonna have to give her another one here because I was a terrible husband. How do you not know that Vince was a bad husband? He obviously was a bad husband.
He's
He had
trying
touched
his
her and,
best.
Obviously.
Was he, though?
Obviously.
He's trying his best.
was he?
Yeah. Because
I flipped the table over, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, that's only in the dream sequence, but then the grandpa asks you the question later.
Yes.
What
Yes.
are you going to do? And that's what makes the choice.
Yes, I don't take the money.
Right. Yeah. Because if you do take the money, what ends up happening is the choice is he ends up working like a minimum wage job at like McDonald's or something towards the end of the game
very
instead of
carpool
opening
gaming.
the flight school. Because that was the whole thing. Because
pay
that was
well.
the reason he wanted to sue him, because he's like,
No, they don't.
he can never work in flight again
Canada.
if he took the deal. So that was one of the I was wondering if we diverged a little bit, but it sounds like we were on the same page. But that's one of the choices I went back and replayed, seeing what would be different about it. But anyways, moving on now that everyone's on the run. So it sounds like I think both of you had Jay let Zoe go, right? Is that how that worked? How'd you guys do
Yes, Jay let Zoe go.
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah. I'm like trying to think of like when
So
that
you're
even
not
happened.
a monster. You're not a monster. A monster would have been like you're standing. In
Wait
the
a
car,
second.
Zoe.
Wait, can you remind me where this happened? Like, where are we at?
So after they escape the train sequence,
Yeah.
and they're driving into the woods, they stop the car, and at that point, if in my playthrough, because Vince was the captive, he tries to plead to Jay and says,
Right.
"Hey, Jay, can you let me go?" I didn't know if you had a similar experience with Zoe where
Got it. So there's a
maybe
car
he-
accident and the mom and the brother run away, leaving Zoe and Jay in the car, which leads me to just hate those other two so much. And you can hear the cops are coming, and that's when Jay goes, "They'll find you here. I'm going to peace out of here." So that's what happened.
So
for me.
that's way different from my playthrough, Sean.
Yeah.
Because with Vince isn't even in the car when they get to the car accident.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is they end up stopping before the car accident happens, and Vince and Jay have a second to talk. And in my playthrough, Jay actually didn't let Vince go, so I forced his hand and basically like punched him out and escaped on his own. Like Vince just ran into
That
the
is
woods.
so awesome, dude. I love that.
And then the car accident happened with, Sharon,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, and Jay in the car together
Yeah.
Sharon.
with
Sharon.
no other person accompanying with them. Like they just get in the accident.
So
that
did
way,
you
Jay's
see
basically
the
by
accident?
himself.
Or did you see the aftermath?
I saw the accident happen.
Yeah.
And then in the aftermath, Jay is by himself, and then Tyler
Yes.
and Sharon both disappear without him.
Yeah, because they're terrible. Like that, I looked at the whole family as just scum of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like the O'Doyles from all the Adam Sandler letters, like
O'Doyle rules.
O'Doyle rules. Yeah, like they were just terrible people. That's like when I had the choice to either let Sharon go or like rat her out, even though she was trying to like get with me. I ratted her out within a heartbeat. I'm like, hey, you're going down.
So I missed a quick time. It was one of the only ones that actually mattered that I missed the quick time event, and she got away. She actually got the jump on Copper dude. What was his name? What was the sheriff's name? I don't know.
I'm blanking on it.
Anyway,
Officer Travis
Sharon
or
got
something
away.
like that.
She got to like escape, and she survives in the end for me. She's on a beach somewhere in like Mexico or something. So she was fine.
For me, she's in prison. just like the other Dirty Holt. But like I said, I tried everything in my power. Like when they offered Jay drugs, you're taking the drugs, kid.
Yeah,
I wanted to die. I wanted his character. I was just like, I was done with him. He was the character I hated the most out of all the characters. I really liked Vanessa. I was just like, you're destroying this girl's future. You stop that. Like that's my brain. He just Dean. Yeah. I just didn't like him as a character because he kept trying to play this like, I didn't do it. I'm so innocent. You're not innocent. You're scum. You're scum, just like the rest of your family. Your bloodline scum.
Scummy. He's scumming.
He's scummy.
He's scumming.
He's scummy. Like when I had at the very end of the game, I have a choice to call the cops.
Yeah.
I called the cops.
So did I. But as Zoe, I felt like that was what Zoe. She would want to do. Like, because she had just said to him, it's not that easy. You don't get to just say things and everything is okay. So I felt like she needed to have some sort of resolution. So yeah, she felt like she got that in the end.
Yeah. So circling back to something you guys were talking about with Paul and Sharon, where she goes to Sharon chose to Paul for help. I did something different. Where actually Paul was into it, so they totally ran off together to some island together. They took all the money.
He's got his magazines. He doesn't need her dirty cooch.
Well, no. Too bad. They ended up together because they're, a nice romantic couple because it seemed like they had feelings for each other at one point.
She was manipulating him. She didn't have feelings for him. She just needed to get out, and I hated her. And I needed him to stand up for himself.
Like I said, this was the first game in a long time I really hated a character. Not because
Sharon
of
was brutal.
Yeah, I couldn't stand her because when she turned out to be the mastermind of the whole thing, I'm like, you suck. Like as a parent, you suck.
Yeah, she did kind of force Paul into it because she did get Paul to give them the safe code.
Well, yeah, she put her hand on his lap. I was like, well played.
Yeah.
That would get me moving.
But then rewinding a little bit, because I got to bring this up. There's another character that you play as during this whole sequence, which is Joyce's son, Ash. And he goes on this whole adventure in the woods. And because he has heard rumors about this cabin that's in the woods.
Dude, it's the same as Life is Strange True Colors. The sun goes off gallivanting around. Can
I bring it? I understand that because of him, they know where the cabin is. You could either not know where the cabin is or know where the cabin is.
Yeah.
But the whole Ash thing, I thought it was a bit too long and a bit drawn out and didn't need to happen.
Yeah. That was my one reason I wanted to bring it up here because you're absolutely right on that court where this was the one section where I felt the pacing just, fell off at least a little bit. Like this was the section where I wasn't super interested.
The kid straight up breaks his ankle and then all of a sudden gets out of the hole. I'm like, no, I kind of wanted to leave him there and I couldn't. I tried. It was like, what, kid,
guess who had him fall down the hole though? This guy right here.
Wait, what?
He did more than just break his ankle when I played as him.
He died?
Really? No, he didn't die, but he was in the hospital for a very long time. It was not
just in a full body cast we haven't seen since 1997. Or 1998, I guess, when this happened. There you go.
Yeah,
I did love the continuity of that. Like, it was 1998, and it felt like it was 1998.
Yeah, totally.
Because, you could ruin that whole cell phones, and social media, right? It would. You're not on the run. You're not getting through. You're not the dumb cop at the checkpoint that's just like, oh, okay, you're from San Francisco, keep going.
He was in on it. He was the reason that the FBI caught up with him later. The cop at the checkpoint who said that the database was down. He knew, and he told the FBI, like, hey, he's here. Go get him. But he didn't want to.
Yeah, so I guess my guy, that didn't happen for me. He just let him go. But then, the FBI agent tricks Jay, which was or I guess he tricks me because I'm the one who gives up everything. But I was like, that FBI agent, that was one of my, that was a usual suspect scene to me when the interrogation happened and he was picking up the picture.
I'm talking about the very, very end when they had the stolen car and they get to the checkpoint and they realize they're in a stolen car. Okay.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm just more blanking at the fact that there was an interrogation at all because there wasn't one for me.
Oh, it was so good. The interrogation.
It was good.
It was usual suspects because he picks up the picture and he's like, this is my son. And then I should have caught it when he was like, oh, you should water your plant. And he was like, oh yeah, I guess you should do that because it's not his office.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then when did, I need to know this now. When did this interrogation even happen? Was it after they got the cabin got raided?
The first time Jay gets caught because Jay has to run away from the cops. So
in my playthrough, Jay never got caught.
Sorry. So yes, right after the cabin gets raided, Jay, the little BICGH he runs out the window and ditches everybody. which I did because I was hoping that would get all of them killed on the other side. Didn't. That sucked. But Jay runs away and gets caught.
Yeah.
See, in my playthrough, he didn't get caught because when he escaped alone and decided to abandon his family, which it sounds like we all made that choice, to choose to abandon your family, because you could choose to go down with the ship with the other.
Jay's a BICTH, so
no,
he ran.
I want, like, that's where I felt like that's what his story arc was supposed to be, that he could not get away. He felt like he was stuck, and then when he was given a chance to finally peel away and he realized that he's been so stuck, and like, he's going to take that chance. Like, that for me is what made most sense.
Yeah, but he kept making mistakes. Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, if he's running away and he's like, you know what, I am a good person, then you run to the cops and be like, here's what's going down. I'll rat them all out. Nope.
But instead, what I did is when I ran away as Jay and you get confronted by the cop in the woods, I killed the cop and kept running.
Wow, Ryan, you're a monster.
Oh, you are a monster. How could you?
Yeah, which means Jay never gets caught in my playthrough. At all. Ever. There's no interrogation or anything like that. So I skipped that whole sequence you guys are talking about. Because likewise, did you guys get a sequence right after that then where it's raining and Jay it goes into this like trucker bar and is looking to get like a ride? Okay, because like Jay's on the run after that by himself. So he's being chased down by one of the sheriff's deputies who's like off duty because she wants revenge on him for, you know, shooting the cop that I shot. Which was really interesting.
Dude, there weren't any deputies left in my playthrough. They all died. They kept raiding the hotel, the motel. Everybody kept dying, man. I can't believe that, though. That is, you shot a cop. Oh, my gosh.
Which then, it sounds like it totally changed the whole section of chapter 5.
Well, so to Court's point, like, I felt like by not shooting the cop, I was making the decision. I'm like, he's not going to turn out like his brothers and his family. I feel like by not like taking an extreme measure that he could confess and maybe just like make things right to a certain extent. So you made a decision that he was just going to follow his family's lineage.
The way I looked at it was this guy's been pushed into a corner and he doesn't want to go to jail for something he didn't do. And when you're in that situation, you make dumb. When you're in that situation, you make dumb decisions, and that was a dumb decision.
Interesting.
Well, so for me, I tried to give him his redeeming moment then, but then when he ruins Vanessa's life, I'm like, no, you suck, dude. Like, you had a chance, you blew it with me, and that's when I decided with Jay. I was like, I did everything the opposite of what I would have done. I was just going, yep, you're gonna rat yourself out here. You're gonna take the drugs. Hopefully, it kills you. Like, let's just make him go away.
I was helping him hook up.
Circling back to something you guys were talking about then earlier.
The threesome? Did you have a threesome?
No.
Does Jay have to escape the police station? Is that what you guys had to do? Like, how does he get away?
Yeah, he picks a lock.
He's like, I can't believe it was this easy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he finds a paper clip.
So then, did we both kind of intertwine when he gets to Salt Lake City? Is that kind of how that works?
What did you say?
So then it sounds like we all kind of got to the same place after that when Jay got to Salt Lake City, I think was the next moment then. Okay, good. So it does circle around.
That's crazy writing, man. They go
moment.
totally in different directions and still kind of bring it back, and that still makes sense. It doesn't feel totally forced. I don't think so.
Well, it does for Zoe being so messed up. For me, I'm not buying just the bus went through the thing, because our Zoe is dark and she's in a bad place, and getting kidnapped puts her there.
Whereas in mine, they kind of really emphasized on like when she was in the room with Jay upstairs. Same. And Jay was like, don't make a sound, just be quiet. And like, that was what traumatized her more than anything. And not the kidnapping. But beyond that, there's a couple things I want to touch on. First off, the party that they go to, you guys both, indicated that you made Jay take the drugs, and I also made Jay take the drugs as well, because I was trying to hook up with Vanessa, and she was taking the drugs.
Jesus,
of course, Jay's taking the drugs too.
Oh my God.
They're 18.
Yeah. And that actually plays out a little bit later. So then I got to ask you guys then, in your playthrough, did Jay and Vanessa hook up at all after the party?
No.
Yep. They kissed a little smoochy.
Yeah, they did in my playthrough as well. And I found out that it stops midway after the kissing because you decided to take the drugs. If you don't take the drugs, they go all the way.
Oh, round the bases. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is interesting. Because, I had, after they left the party, because they chose to leave the party themselves after the guy that went to for help, whose name I'm blanking on, was kind of a jerk. They go to this like Starry Hill and they're talking about it. And I had Jay reveal his past to Vanessa.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I did not, because I felt like that was going to get in the way of him getting some. So I kept the lie going.
But it worked. It worked in my favor because she's like, okay, at least you're honest with me and I want to be on this adventure with you.
Oh, I thought she would have like peeled away. I thought she would just like left him.
She just wanted a bad boy. That's all she wanted. She was being manipulated by Jay's like, I'm so innocent.
So she would have called him Jay throughout the rest of the game then? Like it was never Dean after that?
Yeah, he reveals his name as Jay.
Interesting.
So she calls him Jay from that point forward, because this plays into another point, because now that we know that I'm on different paths with you, Sean, I got to ask, now that we've got like kind of the final scene with, Vanessa and Jay together because we see like a montage of them traveling and whatnot, but when they get to the Canadian border, when they're confronted by Vanessa's father and he reveals the truth to Vanessa, does she like think like he's some kind of monster or something, Sean? Because he didn't tell her the truth?
Yeah.
What happens there?
Yeah. But she's so mad at her dad though, like the entire time, like she's still like, she kind of doesn't matter. They honestly didn't focus on it as much as I thought that they would. Cause it seems like there's like a moment kind of shows her like, what? But yeah, it wasn't totally crazy. And Jay ends up going off on his own anyways. So they didn't really hang on that too much.
Whereas in my playthrough, she's like, yeah, Dad, I already know. And I don't really care who he is because I want to be with him because I want to be with him.
I only want to be with you.
All this stuff. So I thought that was an interesting kind of dichotomy. So then when you got to the top of the cliff, then you had the choice to jump off.
Wait. Number one, you got to the cliff. Wait, so they think there's a chance for you to surrender or run to freedom? Is that what I remember? Is that for everybody? Did everybody have that? I didn't
have a choice because I had Vanessa who stayed with me.
So that was one of the hardest decisions that I had. I was sitting there like going back and forth because they like, we have you now. Your girlfriend doesn't really trust you. You've been outed. Like, what are you gonna do? And you could surrender. I'm pretty sure that was it, or run to freedom. And I thought, how close to freedom are we? It seemed like we were still at a bit of a hike to go. But
the big difference, Sean, is that Vanessa still trusted me. And we were in it together, and Vanessa basically pulled Jay's hand, and they're like, "No, we're running for it. We're going up the hill because we can basically jump off this cliff into this water and swim to Canada."
So at the cliff, at the top of the cliff, like, did you get on the other side of the fence and then sit there, and then they have kind of like a fugitive moment where he's like, Harrison Ford's like, "I didn't do it," and he's like, "I don't care."
No. So the FBI agent never catches up to them. It's Vanessa's father that catches up to him. And he tries to convince Vanessa not to go with Jay. But in my playthrough, it gives you the option of jump off the cliff alone. Yeah. Or jump off the cliff with Vanessa.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. No, she wasn't there.
I jumped off the cliff alone.
I jumped off the cliff with Vanessa. I took her with me.
I kind of wish I did one of those.
So I have a question for you. Was she in the cabin at the very end of the game?
We're gonna get to that.
Oh
no, you don't. No, that's okay.
We'll get. I wish the dive was like one of those new like death dives. Like instead of him just kind of like flailing down, I wish he did like kind of like a spin and then just a death dive right at the very end.
Yeah, but yeah, that's really interesting. Then, so
I wish his head hit a rock and he was just done. He'd be done with his character.
And that was the thing. Like I messaged Ryan at this moment. I'm like, I think Jay's dead. And then immediately afterwards, I'm like, wait a minute. I already know he's writing letters in the future. So like obviously he turned out fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I did this in an interesting way because I'm doing this almost in chronological order because as you probably noticed, we haven't talked about Zoe yet. So this fast forwards to present day. I think it's 2012 in this game is where they go to in this game. But Zoe is seeing some things. She's on some crazy drugs because she's totally traumatized. But as you mentioned, she's getting letters.
From a bus in your story, a bus.
Right. But she did beat her swim, her holding her breath record in my playthrough.
Oh, see, I didn't think that she would be able to like pull through or push out the memories. I felt I failed her on purpose for that.
She held her breath for almost 2 minutes in my playthrough.
Yeah, same. Like Sean.
Right.
She couldn't. Dude, she was distracted. She couldn't sort it out. Like she was not at peak performance, And then she gets out of the pool, and then she's a total B to May or whatever her name was.
Yeah. I love this whole future sequence though. I thought it was great. Like I loved seeing Zoe's character in the future and kind of what she's going through. And they keep hinting at, like, they're not coming out and saying that it's Jay writing letters to her and that's what's got her hung up. But you see, like, some letters on her table. And
one of the letters does say it. At one point it says, like, write me back or something like that. And it says -J at the bottom. And that's when everything came clear to me.
Yeah. I love her interactions with the grandpa at this point too, though. And her going over there and he like loses all of his stuff and you have to go find it in his apartment because he's such an old man.
Zero sympathy for grandpa.
Of course. But he's seeing things as well. And she's seeing things because they keep seeing this like shadowy figure, almost like Michael Myers style from like Halloween or something like that. Which turns out a little bit later in the game to be real for someone. But I love their whole interactions together. I thought it was really cool. But did either of you guys tackle the innocent person in the app?
Yep.
The lady. I tackled the lady.
Yeah, I did too the first time. But then I saw you could not do that. But then you chase down someone else, which still doesn't save Grandpa in the end, which made me sad because I really wanted to try and change his fate a little bit.
Don't worry. His cancer didn't get him. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's fine.
The bullet did.
The grandpa encourages Zoe to, face her past. That's the only way she's going to get over things. So she reads the letters from Jay and decides, instead of just, writing Jay back, she physically goes to Jasper, Alberta, Canada.
No one wants to go there. Even Johnny Goudreau doesn't want to be there.
Damn.
Clearly. But she finds out where Jay's been hiding.
Which she finds out, by the way, because Canadians are nice. She has the P.O. box number and some nice Canadian tells like, well, that's exactly the address where this goes, where it's registered to. Like,
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Good on her. But yeah, like I love this whole sequence with her and Jay and how they talk things out. And I played this actually one of two ways. So in my first playthrough, I was actually similarly to you guys where Zoe was angry with Jay for the reasons Court talked about where, Jay, like you can't just forgive everything Jay did because he said sorry. Like it doesn't work that way. So she was angry and I had her call the cops.
Is it too late to say I'm sorry?
But because I can provide insight for this, because I don't think either of you guys went back and did this playthrough again, I played through it to see what would happen if you chose to forgive Jay. So what ends up happening is when she forgives them, she ends up like staying for dinner with Jay and they have like this nice meal around the table and then they're talking about all kinds of stuff like how, Zoe, got fired from the deli and, how she's, practicing for sweetmeats and stuff. And then she just leaves. It's just like, it's like this really interesting thing that happens.
He's a terrible person.
He is. So I have to answer a question that you guys asked me earlier, which is what happened with Vanessa. So after talking to Jay, what he reveals is that Vanessa stays with him for 6 years, but she actually decides to leave because what they're doing out there in the cabin isn't really living. Like they're kind of just hiding and it's not really like Jay wanted her to have like a life of her own, rather than, hiding and kind of running away. So she ends up actually moving to California. And so when Zoe gets there, when Zoe gets there, there's like a Vanessa plus Jay with a heart kind of carved into the wood of Jay's cabin, which prompts her to ask about it. But Vanessa actually takes off, even if they leave together, which I thought was interesting.
Seems like a that's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad I got the ending that I got. There was a bunch of things that kind of happen off screen that are less than satisfying.
Obviously you loved your ending. Another person died. Like you love people dying in your game.
No, I wasn't. I mean, Sharon survived and I was mad about that. So you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be going back and make sure she gets her coming or whatever it's called.
Comeuppance.
Honestly, Ned Flanders, I never knew you were this violent.
Only in video games. And look, people should be treated fairly. And she should get what she deserves. She doesn't deserve to be on a beach anywhere.
Her comeuppance.
How does she ended up with like the best outcome out of all of them? And that is
not for me. She was in jail. She had a girlfriend and everything.
Yeah, Tyler. So he was on death row and he got his appeals rejected. I wish it showed him in the chair. Like get him roasting.
Yeah,
man.
No, I didn't want Tyler anywhere. He needed to go because he was the one who wanted to kidnap Zoe. Right? He's the bad person.
He was the agitator throughout the entire experience. Because like even someone like Dale, who was kind of going along with him, you could definitely tell like Dale didn't want to.
Oh, Dale was the worst. Dale got what was coming to him. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And Jay as well.
Everybody's the worst.
He is the worst. If anything, he went too quickly, too mercifully. A sniper shot to the head. He didn't even know what hit him. Put him in a burning building or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And likewise, Tyler ended up in the same place in my playthrough as yours, Sean, where, he's on death row and his appeals were, not there. So, Court, I got to ask you then, since Michelle lived in your playthrough, are her and Vince together? Did they separate? What happened with them?
They are together, but you don't. So that's the thing. You don't really see them. So I just see Vince at the very end. He's just sitting in a boardroom, and that Michelle she talked to her dad earlier. They're together. The parents are together, but that's about it.
Okay. Because I didn't know how much they go into it. Because on the choices menu, there's a whole bunch of things of Michelle's fate, and then a bunch of things that are associated with it.
Well, yeah, because I could have even let Michelle die later, during when the bus crashes through, pieces of the roof falls down when everything catches on fire. Once they set everything on fire, the roof falls down on her. I technically could have let her. Sean would have loved this. She could have just burned to death.
Damn.
She would have been crushed and then burned to death, and I didn't let that happen. But yes, you don't see anything.
The way Ryan described how she got shot, I feel was different for me. I feel there might have been 3 times where Michelle gets into some grave danger, actually. I'm almost, and sometimes I misremember things. I'm pretty sure Michelle got shot during a raid at the motel.
Then that's totally different than the way we did it.
She was in the crossfire.
Raids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe she got shot in the first raid as opposed to, whereas in my playthrough, she was shot before that raid even happened. At the end of chapter 1. I gotta go back and look.
I'm pretty sure it was later than that.
Sean's I gotta go back and figure out how to kill her sooner.
Seriously, yeah. Well, no, I feel it was all good. But in your playthrough, what she's doing. 2-timing. That's what she's doing. Because once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay, Court?
Well, hey, I don't. So I don't believe that, but that's fine. I used to be a terrible person. I'm not anymore. I'm a good person. I used to be a terrible person. I'm not anymore.
No,
I'm just.
So honestly, that's probably why I forgave her.
Yeah. There you go.
You saw a little of yourself in her.
Ouch! But yes.
I mean, that's what you're saying. I'm just.
100% is what I said.
Words.
I said what I said.
But yeah, so I thought this ending was really interesting. It sounds like it could have gone in a bunch of different ways.
That's awesome.
Cool. And yeah, of course, though, the game ends all the same way for all 3 of us, which is Credits. Grandpa gets shot by the mystery assailant, who, Grandpa had been seeing, a hooded guy for a while, and no one believed him. Well, it turns out that I guess that guy robbed Grandpa.
Yeah, well, my biggest intrigue throughout all the rest of the game is when, at the very beginning, when he said, "Oh, I knew you," and then I get nothing else, and I'm just like, I've been hanging on for this, and I text Sean. I was like, I did not see that coming. I thought they were just not going to talk about it anymore. I'm like, Jesus, all right. You're not giving me anything. I am so desperate to know what Grandpa did. I really want to know why why it wasn't he knew what he was doing when he asked him to take the scenic route. They make a whole point of telling you all this and then tell you nothing more.
Yeah. You can really infer that Jay is his kid at this point, because they talk about it in other scenes where
I think Ryan's right.
Sharon got pregnant with someone else who was visiting in town when the grandpa visited town.
Yeah, because Bear is not Jay's dad.
Yeah, exactly. But
because remember they talk about that in the cabin. They talk about that in the cabin where she was like, "Well, we just kept you anyways," and he was like, "You're not even part of the family."
Yeah. I remember all that. Yeah. You're saying Jim is Jay's dad?
Yeah, I think Vince and Jay are brothers.
Yeah,
I think he's right.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what I've inferred from everything that happened in this situation.
That's
which would make sense as to why. Because
but then why are you killing? Anyways,
wait, what?
But when you think about it, think about it from the people that you control in this game. Then, if that's the case, you're only controlling players
that are related
from Vince's family, except for Ash, Joyce's son. But beyond that, you're only controlling then
Jim's family tree. Wow.
Yeah. Which is an interesting thing. Yeah. They don't explicitly say it, but I'm 90%.
I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because this is a much better moment than if the game was and he's his dad. Sometimes I don't love.
He is the father.
Totally.
Maury Povich just comes out and does it at the very end of the game. It would be great, actually. It would be a good moment.
That's way better. That you kind of wonder. That is, yeah, yes.
Okay, wow. Can we make that the thumbnail? can we make the thumbnail like Maury Povich, like you are the father, and like only people that get played the game, like because it's Spoilercast. That's a great thumbnail.
No, the thumbnail is let her die, and then just
or Sean's a monster.
A bunch of graves.
he's giving the morphine. He's like jabbing
Honestly,
the needle
yes.
in, jiggling
a bunch
it around.
of graves with we get a face of Sean like going like this, putting a
Grim
bunch
Reaper.
of graves.
Yeah. Or if we can make the thumbnail a GIF, we could have it take the GIF of Sean burying Skinny Matt, but instead of Skinny Matt, you just have one of the characters from this game. Sean's burying
Same
them.
grave. You know what? I won't even bury
Yeah.
him. Don't even give him the satisfaction.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. I'm playing it up.
You
I'm
buried
playing
that
it up.
one guy. You buried the mobster.
He's like, I'm playing it up, but technically I killed every character in the game, but I'm just playing it
Yeah,
up.
pretty much everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should go look.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Sharon lived.
This was really fun
You
to talk about.
Honestly, Ryan, if you saw Sean's text of him being in shock of like, oh, you didn't kill all 14 of them? Like,
Let me see. I should actually quickly look. Ryan, you can maybe have one more thing, and then
well, we were actually like talking on the Xbox Drive last week where we were talking. Someone asked us, what our Mass Effect alignment was, and we were both Renegade from Mass Effect.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
true.
actually makes a lot more sense when you think about it. Is like Sean and I were closer in our playthroughs, I think, than Court and us were a little.
yeah, I was very, I had the heart. I was very compassionate. I was thoughtful and all family. That's who I am. I'm just a nice guy, everybody. I don't know. I'm just
look at that nice guy.
I'm just a caveman.
Yeah.
trying to remember.
But either way, I loved hearing you guys.
Sheriff died. Sheriff died, but Sharon killed Sheriff.
No, so I didn't know.
Or he got
I didn't kill the
stabbed.
sheriff. No,
He got
Not
stabbed.
mine.
no, not mine.
In my playthrough, he almost got run over by by a car that Paul and Sharon were driving.
No,
but
so that
never
didn't happen for me either. Jesus.
My messages to Ryan here is I said, nope, I was wrong. And then wifey is next. And then a skull, like she's dead. And then I said, burying the gangster, screw Pa, he's dead. Yeah, so everybody's dead. Every
Just
message.
killed everybody.
just dying.
Sean Capri. Everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But man, this was fun. I would love to know though from the community, how was your playthroughs? What did you think about this game? Because honestly, we talked about this in the review portion, but our playthroughs, some of the decisions I made, there were like 2% of players who made those decisions.
Yeah.
So like there's obviously got to be some
Seriously,
really wild.
you had things that happened I didn't realize could even have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, that's what I was talking about in the spoiler-free review is like, there's decisions that can swing so far from one to the next and it still makes sense throughout the whole thing.
I think it's crazy that all three of us had drastically different playthroughs.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean
Exactly.
just murdered everybody. He's Freddy Krueger. Me, I'm like My Little Pony, like, hey, let's all be friends. And then Ryan's just like, every now and then it's like, die.
Yeah, when you have to.
It's just, yeah.
I'm kind of like chaotic neutral, whereas Sean is chaotic evil and
Jesus.
Court is lawful good. Dungeon and Dragons alignments, folks.
There you go.
There you go. But anyways, I think that's going to wrap up this conversation. But again, folks at home, we want to hear from you. Let us know either in the comments below of this video, if you're watching on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or let us know in the Discord. The Discord's free to join. The link is in the show notes as well. Hit us up on the Carpool Gaming Discord. But Court, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, on the Bird app at Court Lalonde. You can also find me on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube at 3 Dads and a Console. We just have some fun over there. And you can also find me on Twitter again at Carpool Gaming.
Very nice, my friend. Sean, where can people find you?
I've come up with something for Court to say when he says I'm Court Lalonde on Twitter. It's Court Lalonde. It's French for the Londe. You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch. Sean Capri,
not.
Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. The Londe, La Londe is French for the.
No, it's not.
I don't know where you're going with that, Sean.
Yeah, it's not.
No. As for me,
We'll let the people
you can find me on
decide.
Twitter.
The crest is a goose.
You're too attached to it, and Ryan doesn't understand French, so that's
It's not that I'm too.
from Texas. I don't know French.
got him.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. You can find us on Twitter at Carpool Gaming, on YouTube at youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, on podcast services around the globe. So for Court Lalonde and Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been an Extra Mile Spoilercast all about As Dusk Falls, and we're out.
It's French for the Londe.